Good morning. This is the first cup of morning Joe. Someone who doesn't drink coffee. How about that? Yes, but we have a relevant reason on why we're here this morning out of nowhere, and that is the story about the trade deadline and what possibly or was discussed uh, on or before the dread deadline, which was LeBron James' possible interest in going to the Golden State Warriors. So it was an interesting morning. We woke up. At least I woke up to Gerald's message about how Brian Windhorst had mentioned a.
No, actually, it's Adrian Wojnarowski along with Ramona Shelburne.
I was reading or I was watching Brian Windhorst on ESPN.
Oh, okay. So they
That's
say
the one I
okay,
got.
okay.
But Woj is obviously going to warrant credibility versus Brian Windhorst. No disrespect to Brian Windhorst, but I did watch the Brian Windhorst video on what happened or what almost happened. Now I say almost happened, and not because there was a close deal. There was interest. There was interest from the Golden State Warriors and their ownership. They called Pelinka, and it turns out that LeBron and Pelinka,
Well, the owners got together.
the owners got together, and I think they respectfully said no pretty quickly. Daryl Morey, who's been known to make calls like this, calls like I heard maybe to Kevin Durant with Phoenix. Hey, is there something there? He even called Rob Pelinka apparently about LeBron. Pelinka's return apparently was is Embiid available? So that conversation I wouldn't think would be any. I think that would be kind of normal if I was in charge. I think those are questions that you have to ask. And then I started imagining what a team of Embiid and AD would be. But then at the same time, I'm like, are they really going to trade an MVP for LeBron in this late stage in his career? I don't know why that. I don't even know why that would even be a discussion. I don't think that'd be realistic. But there was some feeling out there, and I don't know really what to think about it. I don't think it says anything other than the Warriors. Did they really think that they could probably trade? Were they thinking of trading Klay Thompson in that deal for LeBron?
I would not have taken that deal. I would have taken personally Chris Paul, his contract, and then you go Kuminga, Moody, and give me 3 firsts, and then I'll think about it. Because I've been thinking about it driving home this morning. I was like, what would it take for me to go ahead and say yes to that deal? And that's probably what would get me in the range, in that ballpark.
Well, the most important part of the decision there is whatever deal you would have taken, should you have gotten what you wanted in the deal, you're essentially saying we're done this season. That's what you would have been saying. You would have said, we're trading LeBron James. We're going to pick up a bunch of expiring contracts or risk a possibility of getting someone that might help us next year or whatever. But reality is that's not true. That's not going to happen. I have a pretty good feeling. Should they have discussed a few options, which they probably did, Klay was in that deal, and Klay coming home would have been the only option. And I say coming home as in,
and that's true. Zanger Sign said Klay would have been a free agent too. So you could,
and that's probably what would have likely have happened. There is there would have been discussions on whether the Lakers would extend Klay.
Paul has a small buyout, but Klay. Yeah. But the thing is, would you make the money work if you asked for both Moody, Kuminga, and Klay? Would you been able to get the money right on that? So
I would not have. I would have taken the deal if I really felt that there was no chance to winning a championship this year, which there's always a chance. So I think it went the way it's supposed to go. If the Lakers were 5 or 10 games below 500, yeah, I would have done something, and I would not have promised any extensions, and hopefully gotten a Kuminga or a Mooney and maybe some draft capital out of that.
Or pods. Go for pods.
I don't know how this makes Golden State viable. That's the question I have. And how does this look on? if you're looking at LeBron's career, he doubles up on his star chasing decision making.
Mhm.
I don't think this was ever going to happen.
Well, remember, this was just, that it was proposed, like you said, at a owner to owner level, GM to GM
Why
level.
would they come out with this? That's the
Uh,
question I have now
it looks
with
like
all
it
the little
broke.
details. What was the point of having this? This was obviously leaked out for a reason.
Yeah.
Why would you even discuss this?
I mean, they approached the Warriors approached the Lakers, with the hourglass tweet, and as far as the seemingly dissatisfaction right around the time the Lakers were in New York, that and frustration that LeBron had. But it looks like, again, that they just reached out to the Lakers. Jeannie was not for it, but also as well, they asked LeBron, and LeBron said emphatically he was not for it as well. So.
No, I don't know why everyone keeps talking about the hourglass tweet. Uh, what was that? What is that? Like, why does everyone keep bringing that up?
It's because it's relevant, because about his dissatisfaction supposedly with what the Lakers are doing.
Oh, he's mad about what they're doing.
Hmm.
Okay. Uh, I don't understand. Isn't he supposed to know how things work in the NBA? What
Well,
are they gonna grab out of their rear end? There's only so much you could do, and your player union people created this setup. So what was Rob Pelinka supposed to do at the deadline to make this team better with no assets? Assets that you traded for AD, assets that you traded to get with your pushing Russell Westbrook. What exactly do you want Rob Pelinka and the Lakers to do? What is
good
that
point.
hourglass thing? Everybody has their own interpretation.
Well, remember, we were on the air when he posted that.
It's not very likely that I probably would have done what Pat Riley did with LeBron, no matter how talented he is. Even Dan Gilbert before he got sick. At some point, this guy exhausts his stupidity on things. This hourglass garbage is Harry High School BS, and that's all that is. It's a child being an adult. That's what that is. That's what it is. And the question I would have had as a GM, like, what are you doing? What is this? What do you mean hourglass? What is this? Is the LA mother effing Lakers? We don't have an hourglass. We win championships with you or without you. So, but LeBron said no apparently. But I'm going beyond this. Why is this story out? Why did this story come out? This story did not have to come out. What is that supposed to do? So I've been thinking about it for the last hour while I've been working. What exactly was this discussion, this leak about? Did Rich Paul decide to take this out? Obviously, right? He's the one
Yes.
that let it leak. I don't think Lacombe would. I think Jacob and the Golden State leadership would have done this, and it's just I'm confused on what the point of this is, and why LeBron. Why would LeBron want to go to the Golden State Warriors in the off season or something like that? Like, what would be the purpose?
Well, obviously, Draymond Green and LeBron, it's been noted they're good friends, and it was something that Draymond Green was probably, and also, according to the reports, was very active in trying to facilitate as well. So I'm sure there were some phone calls made to LeBron in regards to possibly trying to, woo him over to Golden State.
Does the Golden State Warriors become a title team with LeBron minus Clay and a couple players?
Possibly.
So Draymond Green, who's the leftover skin from a snake at this point in his career, is going to help LeBron and a LeBron Steph Curry top heavy team into the championship. And how does LeBron's career look winning a championship with Steph Curry? Should they have done that? I don't. it's a. I'm trying to figure out the right words to say here because it's just it's such a stupid waste of time. These
Yeah.
people, man. I don't like these people, man. I'm gonna be honest. I don't I don't like these people. I really don't. These people, as in the Rich Pauls and how they conduct their business. They're to me just if th- if this is how if this is we're interpreting this the right way, and I'd like somebody to tell me if this makes any sense. Am I overreacting? Am I overreacting? I really would like to know. What is the point of this coming out right now? Why? Woj isn't going to go off the cuff and say something like this without somebody saying, go ahead and do it. Because those guys are all cowards. They have no balls. So, what is it? What was the point of this leak on what happened? That's what I want to know.
That is something to think about, though. Absolutely. But again, it's just about where the Lakers are at right now and the frustration that he had at that point in time about a week, 2 weeks ago. So that's what facilitated all this is the passive aggressiveness that you always talk about on the show.
What? So, we're Alan, you're saying they're supposed to gauge the LeBron stuff. I would like to think this would have come out before. Why didn't it come out before? Why now? Why leak now? I don't see the point. What are the Lakers going to lose if LeBron decides to go to Golden State in the summer? What's that going to do? Golden State doesn't have anything to give us, really. So I don't see how that's even a discussion. To me, this is just attention towards the brand at this point. Because what benefit does this do for the Lakers right now, other than creating a distraction, other than us having to come here? Well, I guess I just realized what the answer was. We started a show for it. There you go. I have to waste time talking about it. That's what they got out of it. And I'm one of God knows how many people doing this. And now the talk is going. So from a marketing standpoint, the brand becomes front page type stuff.
That's what it's all about.
Rule, you're right. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. So here we are again, the enablers, Gerald. We're going to be enablers in this until LeBron is no longer a Laker. So there you go. I'm part of the problem, and I just realized it. Thank you, LeBron James and Rich Paul and Maverick Carter, whoever runs that place. And here we are. Now we have to. Actually, Gerald made me do it. Sorry, folks.
I made you do it?
Yeah. Gerald made me do it. But Gerald made me come this morning and talk about this.
No, I just asked if you wanted
it was
to.
Good business. What? I'm telling the truth. I'm coming out with the real stuff.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so on a boring Wednesday, this is going to be a discussion, and we're going to ride into the Utah game here because apparently LeBron isn't playing tonight, but LeBron still needed to be the headline for today's
Of course.
Lakers.
Absolutely.
I don't want anyone from the Warriors. No, thank you. Yeah, there's no one. This would have been a salary dump at that point. You're not going to re-sign Clay. You can't.
So you're saying Kuminga, Podziemski,
I would have wanted
Moody.
I would have wanted draft capital. I would have wanted.
Oh, you would have got draft capital on top of it. I'm just saying the players involved. Clay again, just for his contract.
I don't see any player. I mean, I see Kuminga. Okay, Mooney.
Podziemski is.
But those guys aren't going to move the needle in terms of title contention. So you might as well pack up on. We get anybody who can work under the current draft. The current trade, whatever confirms the trade, and then add the capital, because the capital is really the only thing I'm looking at. I want draft capital in that deal.
No,
Players,
that's what I prefaced it at, is 3 first-round picks.
so
at
3
the- at
first
the-
round picks, and then whoever they want to put in there. But there's no extensions going to Clay or anything like that.
No.
It's just making the deal go through. You start the summer with 6 first round picks. You have AD there. If you have a Kuminga in there, now you have a viable player that you can put in the rotation. Mooney as well. That's cool. And then do you go get Trae Young? Do you get a demand from Milwaukee on a trade from either Lillard or Giannis? I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not saying they would do it, but things could develop at that point. Things can develop when you're the LA Lakers if you get rid of LeBron in the summer. I just don't see LeBron going to Golden State with Steph Curry another year later. That wouldn't make any sense, because you're not winning anything with those 2 guys. It's just impossible. You'd need help. You need some depth, and they would lose all their depth. And Clay is going to want an extension. I don't know what kind of negotiation they're going to put together there, but I don't see him being a guy that can help those guys in the long run. In an 82-game season plus 3 months of playoffs, it's going to be tough.
Okay. Again, I still think if the right deal would have come along with right players, at least you got to look at it.
I think this is a waste of time, honestly, other than it being entertainment. There's no reason. When I kept hearing about Durant coming to LA, that is probably one of the dumbest things you can tell me. Beginning of the year, why would Durant go to? Durant tried to get away. Durant could have very easily stayed in Golden State. Golden State would have won more championships, but he let the public own him, and it's owned him since the first step in Golden State, with his burner accounts and his irrelevant championships that came out every 5 seconds. He let strangers, knobs, and morons dictate championship wins, championship runs, greatness, even bigger greatness. Think about that for a second. If he had stayed at Golden State, would you disagree that he wouldn't have probably a couple championships more right now?
I agree.
They would have. They would have won in 2022.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was a dog.
Roof, roof, roof.
Hold on a second. Let me check. That doesn't sound like a good sound. 1 second.
Watch out. Just basically, when it comes right down to it, that I think that if it would have gone down, or at least would have been agreed to, I think, as Zangerstein said, probably the Clay contract would have been more palpable. Could you package Podziemski, Kuminga, 3 first-rounders? I would have definitely considered it, especially when you consider 39 years old LeBron James. I think I probably would have looked really long and hard for that one, if, of course, he was accepting on that trade. So, but yeah, your thoughts on that as far as if Durant had stayed? Yeah, they would have won 2 more, I guess.
I don't care what Draymond. I would have thrown Draymond out the door a nanosecond above Durant. If Draymond yells at anyone he knows that won't fight back. You don't believe me? Go on YouTube, clip Draymond Green, Ron Artest, Metal World Peace, whatever the hell he was calling himself at that time, and you'll see how Draymond slowed with him. Draymond is a more excessive version of Kevin Garnett. These guys are only dogs, only Dobermans when a poodle comes in. Somebody like a Nurkic. Yeah, I know Nurkic is a big boy, but Nurkic is a poodle. He doesn't scare anybody. Rudy Gobert is a poodle. He's the French poodle. He's not going to fight back. But you wouldn't see Draymond Green come in and mess with someone who's capable of ripping his face off. And most basketball players are not about that life. A lot of them act like they are. They're not. You can tell because most of the guys that have fought, let's say, they don't do a lot of it now because there's such a huge punishment set these days. But when guys would fight, you rarely saw any NBA player show any semblance of knowing how to throw a punch. Anytime you see someone throwing a punch while they're backtracking, they don't know how to fight. And then you could always see the gyrations of the punch. It's quite funny, and I wish there were more of it because it is kind of funny. It reminds me of a lesser version of the dugouts clearing in baseball. At least in baseball, there's room to run. That's what makes that one funny.
But yeah, I mean, it was just something I thought you would be interesting to bring up because it's going to be a source of conversation throughout the rest of the day. And I thought we'd get the jump on it, my friend. You already heard ESPN already start this morning, like you said, with Brian Windhorst and all that. So just thought we'd go ahead and just run that out there.
Yeah, of course. No, it's a good topic to talk about. A lot of these shows that we're doing are jumping off points. We're testing a lot of things right now to see what would make sense. This particular story would make sense in coming out in the morning. I know a lot of you are working out there. You probably won't be able to watch it live. For those of you who are here, we're glad you're here, and we'll get a good gauge on how interesting these particular stories are as they come about. I like it from a story standpoint. I think it gives a little flavor to the NBA, considering the trade deadline was deader than 10 corpses that are in a ditch for a week. But we will take what we get. I just wish it wasn't this hourglass BS with LeBron, especially when the Lakers are actually playing pretty well right now, and now you have this distraction about how he almost left, according to or I should say, there was a gauging of interest. And why that story came out. What was the point of having that come out today, other than being an attention whore at that point? I wouldn't trade for Grant, Allen. That is Allen. Jeremy Grant is, what version is he? What would be a good correlation in terms of the overrating of this guy's game compared to his pay? This guy gets paid. He's like the Luke Walton of this trade world, in that Luke Walton got paid not nearly as much as Jeremy Grant, but he got paid so much more money than he should have gotten.
Ben Simmons?
No, Ben Simmons had some talent at some point when his head was in it. If Kawhi Leonard doesn't hit that shot, there's a very good chance that the Sixers possibly win a championship in 2019. So at least he had something there. What has Jeremy Grant done other than play pretty well in 2020 with Denver? Other than that, all I've seen him do is steal money out of Detroit and Portland. He doesn't really do it. He's a good fourth option in my book, who's getting paid number one money. I don't get it. I don't get why everyone likes that guy's game to the point where you're paying him major max money. I don't know.
Okay. Again, my friend, it's just something that's going to be talked about throughout the rest of the day. We will hear it ad nauseum. You and I both know it. It's already starting to filter out there, my friend. So I thought we'd get a jump on it this morning.
No, Luol Deng got paid and didn't play. That one was worse.
That one was bad.
One of the worst contracts that ever existed.
That was a double whammy with Mozgov.
Yeah, he didn't play, so that has its own planet. I don't even compare anything. Jeremy Grant played. Luke Walton played. There's a lot of overpaid players that played. I think Jaylen Brown getting the Supermax was a completely timed situation. That is way too much money for Jaylen Brown. Now you're going to be paying possibly an MVP candidate because Tatum is going to get the Supermax, but you're going to have two Supermaxes, which is like paying two quarterbacks in the NFL. They
won't leave it for long. They can't do that.
You can't. You're going to have to trade Jaylen Brown. They're not going to trade Jason Tatum. They're going to trade Jaylen Brown, and they got to spread that out. Otherwise, that's why it's imperative that that the Celtics do not win this year. I believe this will be the last year they'll have the comfort of being able to do what they're doing right now. Although they don't have really a lot of depth, anyways. But it's going to get even worse once they pay Tatum. It's really going to be two players, maybe one other guy, and then everybody else going to be making minimal money. And if that's the case, it's very unlikely that the Celtics will ever get over that hump. They need Porzingis to come through for them this playoff. They need him to be that guy that can get them a bucket when the shot's not going in. And that's been the issue with the Celtics is shot making in big games. They tend to go away when they tend to not be able to make it, which is why they traded Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart, as good as his defense is, this is not 2005. His defense isn't that important in today's NBA. What would have been important is if he was making shots towards the end of those games that they were close in the playoffs, and they're hoping that Porzingis can be that guy, especially considering you can take him down to the block and he can get you closer in terms of percentage-wise to making those shots.
I just wanted to say, Z's asking about Jeremy Grant's contract. This year it's 27, then it goes to 29, 32, 34, and a player option in 27, 28 for 36, which he will cash in. Yes. It's 160 for the total, which is the reason why I did not want him on our team. That's a salary cap sucker right there for you, because he does not give you what he needs to give you for that amount of money that he's getting paid.
I don't know. It's I don't care about Jeremy Grant. I don't even think that guy. I don't care. The Lakers aren't gonna go get. They're not gonna go get Jeremy Grant this summer for what? How and what? I don't see why that's even a discussion at this point. The discussion based off what happened today is LeBron going to have an option to get traded by the Lakers in the summer, or will he defy the odds and opt out? Is this a discussion that becomes a little interesting in the summer? That's the question I would ask. I would ask Rich Paul or whomever leaked this, or Woj, why would this come out? Now, Woj is a puppet, so I don't know if he's really going to give you a straight answer. Most of these guys are all controlled by these guys to have a career. And what's the point? Adrian, what's the point? What's the point of this leak? I want to know. You're going to have to tell me in private? Well, Joe, you can't tell anybody if I tell you. Well, what is the point of media then? What was the point of this? I really want to know. It doesn't help anything right now to do this at all. So unless Woj leaked it without permission, which is no way, how does this benefit your team? Other than being an attention whore?
Excellent point. But like Alan said, this is more about GSW, the league. He says this is more about the Warriors. Could be. Very interesting.
What do you mean it's about the Warriors? What does that have to do with it?
Oh, it could be about the Warriors putting that out there, trying to mess with the Lakers.
Why would that mess up the Lakers?
Just causing maybe a little bit of strife. They know that LeBron is now going to hear it nonstop and questioning, and as far as it's concerned.
So the Warriors would leak this to mess up the Lakers.
You're just a proposal
at the behest of the people that are in charge of LeBron's team.
Well, that's what Alan might have been alluding to in that comment. So, just guessing myself. Again, it's just speculation at this point.
Speculation. Ooh. What did Hans Landa and Glorious Bastards say about rumors? Usually, rumors tell you a good tale. It gives you a good base on what's going on really behind the scenes. I woke up to you telling me what happened, and I read the article from Windhorst, and I saw the video with Windhorst. I don't. Maybe in the end, I think maybe they're trying to. But see, he said no. LeBron said no, and Pelinka said no. There was apparently no hesitation in that.
But they did ask LeBron.
Right. He said no.
So what if he would have said yes?
3 first-round draft picks.
Kuminga.
And no
Pods-
extensions.
Podziemski.
No extensions. I'm sure they put Clay in that deal, and Clay would want an extension, but I wouldn't give him an extension.
No, but you get the aspiring.
You have to drop that salary of LeBron's so that this summer you can go get a star.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That setup needed to be. But you would have sacrificed the chance to win this year, which is small, but there's still a chance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you take that chance? I know Stone Hansen would.
I would for a 39. Yeah, I would.
But see, it still doesn't make any sense in the end. Why would?
Because we always talk about how the Lakers aren't going to make it anyways. Why not build for your future?
Forget about the Lakers. The Lakers one's easy. What is you really think? If Jacob and the ownership really, if this is true, they really were trying to see what they could get out of this. Do they really think, or did they think they could get LeBron with Clay and Green and Curry? I bet you that's probably what they were trying to do. Clay probably wouldn't have even been in it. And what does that do for LeBron? Does it help his global brand playing in shit-stained San Francisco? No. I don't think it does. Winning a championship with Steph Curry? Why don't you just have Michael Jordan in 1996 go to Utah and play with Karl Malone and John Stockton at that point? That's kind of the correlation, isn't it? None of this makes any sense to me. I have to investigate a little bit here today. We'll probably get a chance to do that once we get off air. But I just think this is stupid. This is one of the dumbest things I could probably read getting up in the morning. I don't understand the point. Full of caffeine, just what I need to get the day started. Yes, problem child. Nothing says cup of Joe like a guy who doesn't drink a cup of Joe, but I am Joe. So I want to thank you all for being here and listening to the first show of Cup of Joe. I know it's not really original, so we'll have to kind of tinker with that a little bit. But, Alan, KD's situation, at the time when he left Oklahoma City for Golden State, he was probably not thinking clearly in terms of the aftermath of playing with another star. I think he just wanted to win. He was so desperate to win that he was willing to deal with the backlash of going on a team that was already kind of pretty good. And then I remember so vividly every time I was on social media, the line of, well, still means more than Kevin Durant's 2 titles. It didn't matter if we were talking about basketball, football, cell phones, remote controls. It didn't matter. That line was everywhere. So that backlash affected Kevin Durant so much that it changed his personality. You look at Kevin Durant before Golden State and after, completely 2 different human beings. Joe, but to be clear, you'd keep LeBron on Lakers until he retires. That depends. TTW, that depends. If he's effective, if he's dropping 25, 6 and 6, and the Lakers are in title contention, yes. But if the Lakers aren't playing for a championship, I think it's a waste of time. I think if you can get something for him, or if you can use his money to go get somebody that is closer to their prime to play with Anthony Davis. See, and that's the thing, guys. We have to think about Anthony Davis here now. It's time to think about Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is 30 years old. Anthony Davis probably has 4 or 5 years left. Maybe not prime AD. Prime AD probably has another couple years, but you still probably have a good player at 34, 35 with the way these guys play in terms of preparing for the season and taking care of themselves, especially AD. And where the Lakers are going to have to make a decision, in my opinion, next year. They've committed to paying LeBron another year after this year. I would have him play out the contract. And then if whatever the results is at that point, you roll with it. Because 2025, folks, just in case you guys forgot or haven't looked, Luka Doncic has the option to opt out of his deal. If he chooses to test the free agent market in the summer of 2025, that could be an interesting scenario for the Lakers. So that's what I'm gauging right now. You've got LeBron signed for 1 more year. He's going to decide on whether he wants to take it. If LeBron comes back this summer and says, I want an extension for 1 more year, the Lakers will probably give it to him because they're like that. They're going to get scared. And I don't know what to tell you. I don't that would not be a good thing. I would prefer to just have LeBron play out his last year, and then it would take care of everything from there, at least in terms of the next step. The next step is you got to get a prime star player back with AD if you want to continue to try to win championships. Joe, are you keeping and paying D'Lo in the summer? He's going to want nice contract. I would say yes, but it's got to make sense. It's got to make sense, and I think D'Lo, if you factor in his entire career, let's say he plays like this the entire way. Let's say they win the championship with him being all-star D'Angelo Russell. At that point, whether you lose him or you sign him, you want a championship. He's probably – we'd have to see if somebody's going to pay D'Angelo a 4-year, $30 million a year contract. If somebody comes back and gives him a 4-year, $120 million contract, he's likely gone. If somebody pays him like 20 mil per year for 2 years, I could see the Lakers keeping him. So the contract would depend on what the market will bear. And it's the smart thing to do is to let him go check what's going on. They did that this year. Exactly what they did this year. Reeves, D'Angelo, Rui all gauged what the interest was out there. And the interest at the end was the Lakers had more money and more ability to give them what they want, and they took it. So, Z, that's the issue, right? The Supermax was created so that once you made the all NBA team, you got this incentive to stay where you're at. However, do you really think Luka's going to win a championship in Dallas? Anyone? Bueller? I don't think so, folks. If I'm Luka's people, and I'm starting to sense LA might have something for me. How much does your brand go up if Luka goes to LA from Dallas? Anthony Davis is there. Ooh, want to win a championship? Ooh, Luka's game is very Showtime like. Ooh, like you just check. Dallas has won 1 championship since 1970, since their existence. Lakers have won since 1970 12 championships. Yeah. I appreciate it, Sky. No, again, we're here to please. We're here to we're here to entertain, whether in the morning, during the day, or at night. That's what we do. Joe, if Luka will not sign that extension, he will be traded before not getting anything. Well, it doesn't matter, Z. If he gets traded to Toronto, What if he says, I'm not going to sign an extension? Right? It's up to him. If he wants control on where he wants to go, he can make that decision next year by opting out. He's opting out of the 2026 season. That's what I'm going to be looking at. I want to see if he will test the market. I'm sorry, folks. I'm a year behind. His last season is 2026. My mistake. I was confused. So in 2026, he's going to get around $46 million, and then the 27 season is the player option. And Lakers have, maybe the Lakers can figure something out between now and now, or now and then, to entice him to maybe at least test the market then. Asking for a trade, I'm fully aware that if he were to ask for a trade, he'll never get traded to LA. Mark Cuban will never trade him to LA, even if they gave Anthony Davis for him. Yeah, LeBron can work with anyone except Russell Westbrook. He bucked the trend. And the problem with LeBron is the attention not going to work for him. That's always the question with him. LeBron is like a jealous broad that's quiet. He doesn't talk. He doesn't make it outwardly obvious that he's jealous, but he does it behind the scene. He's the kind of guy that'll be nice. He'll be the nice chick that talks nice in front of the girl he doesn't like, and then when they're gone, that's when he'll drop the hammer on him. I think LeBron should retire after next year, but he wants to play with certain. I don't know if he wants to play with his kid or whatever it is, or if he feels like he can still pad his stats. That's up to him at that point. For the Lakers, if the Lakers need to start thinking about Anthony Davis, if the Lakers don't win the championship this year, heck, they should be thinking about him even if they do. You think so, Vincent? Who's Vincent? Cuban would rather lose his billions than. I don't know about that one, but definitely, he ain't gonna accommodate the Lakers. Hell no, he ain't gonna send his best, arguably probably his best player ever. Not right now, obviously Dirk is, but yeah, Luka in the end could be the best Dallas Maverick player that ever played for Dallas. So there's no way. He is productive in terms of playing and statistics, but productive isn't going to bring championships. The Lakers are a championship team mentality. And when you have someone like LeBron, if he's just a B player and you're paying him A player money, and you have an A player on the team that also has a legacy and is young, we're talking about AD is 9 years younger than LeBron. AD wants to win too. AD wants to be able to compete. That I'm sure that's an important part of his focus as well. And I remember when the Lakers did get him, I was very excited in the fact that they had this disparaging age difference in that they're going to play together for 5 years. They can muster a couple of championships in that time. LeBron leaves, and then you have AD to start building around him. That was probably what was more exciting about that whole scenario. Is we know this team's going to probably win a championship. I felt it, at least a couple though. This injuries kind of kept us at that, and one bad move, but they did win one. But I also thought, man, we can build with AD as soon as LeBron is checked out. Joe, as much as I don't want Boston to win the title, I probably don't want the Clippers to win. Yeah, but endorphin, you still have to go with the Clippers if it happens to be a Clipper-Celtic final. The Clippers winning one championship doesn't do anything in terms of the Clippers can win 3 in a row and it won't matter. LA will always be Laker town, just like the Knicks will always be New York. If the Brooklyn Nets won 3 championships in a row, they still wouldn't. Where There might have been a chance where the Nets could have trumped the Knicks, probably, and you'll probably get a backlash on this, and you're probably right. Is if Kobe had been drafted by the Nets in 1996 and delivered 5 championships to the city of New Jersey, then there might have been some kind of talk about how the Nets are the class of the Northeast, but I don't think so either. I still don't think so. It's like saying the Mets too. Like, can the Mets really ever trump the Yankees? No, it's just not going to happen. Toronto instead of Montreal? No, this just won't work. Some of these are embedded already in our culture and our consciousness. It's not going to work. So if it's between the Clippers and the Celtics, I'm cheering for the Clippers because we by no means can afford to have. We cannot, as a Laker fandom, we cannot afford for the Celtics to get 18 before the Lakers do, because now you're going to have to win 2 more to get past them. This is about passing them, not tying them, passing them for a championship, all-time championships. It'd be nice to have it done in our lifetime. When I was born, the Lakers were sitting at 6 championships at that time. I was born in 1978. The Celtics were sitting at 13 championships. So since 1978, the number was 13 and 6 for the Celtics. 13 and 6. So they were up 7 championships. And at that time, they weren't even counting the Minneapolis ones at that time too. So it was really 13-1. But once they kind of figured that out, knowing that this is still the same franchise, 13 and 6 was what the 2 franchises were at. And then slowly you started seeing the Lakers got 5 in the 80s, Celtics got 3 more. Fast forward to the 2000s, the Lakers got 5, Celtics got 1, and then 10 years later, the Lakers added another. So it took a minute. It took about 40, what is it now? It's 41 years to tie. 41 years to tie the Celtics when they were down 7 championships. Yeah, it's not as easy as you think. Joe, but imagine Harden and Westbrook with rings. They've already annoying so much. So that's the question, right? Is Harden going to harden himself enough to win a championship this year? Well, that's not really the question. That's not really the question. And Westbrook is a role player on this team. He's not Westbrook of 2017. So, they don't really play him in the fourth quarter because they know navigating his game in a close, in a close game towards the end is just not good business. So you rarely see him play at the end of games. James Harden is going to be used at the end of the games. Will he do his drop step, kickback shot type business? We've seen it work for a very short amount of time, but when it really, really matters, we haven't seen it. Paul George, he's been known as a guy that could play in the playoffs, at the same time not play well in the playoffs. The key here is Kawhi Leonard. If you can tell me that Kawhi Leonard is going to be Kawhi Leonard for the remaining part of February, March, April, May, and half of June. So you're talking about 4 solid months after already playing 4 solid months. Then I'll give you a chance. But then everything else has to come together too. The stars have to align for the Clippers to have any chance of winning it all. And a lot of it's pertaining to the fact that is Kawhi Leonard's body going to break down again in the playoffs? It's a lot of wear and tear this year. And he's still the integral part of that team. That team goes as he goes. James Harden, he's a star, but he ain't James Harden 2018. If it was James Harden 2018, he could basically carry that team the whole year and have Kawhi play 65 games and maybe 20, 25 minutes a game, and they'd be fine. You get in the playoffs, then you're coasted. You can rely on Kawhi Leonard to be the star there at that point. Let James Harden be kind of a secondary guy that can put a dagger in you when you sag off him. But that's about it. That's about it with the Clippers. Until they win, I still believe they're gonna disappoint like they always do. It's just no matter what happens, the Lakers cannot afford to have the Celtics winning a championship. If the Celtics don't win a championship, the Lakers bow out early or whatever. It's not a successful year, but at least they avoid having to deal with the Celtics going up one more title on them. Kawhi at the time looks like he's in his 4 year. Yeah, I mean, his personality already kind of gives you that, anyways. But he's been playing pretty well. It's just how can you sustain that for another 4 months is going to be the question. I think AD can carry, but he won't take that role from LeBron being a nice guy. Well, AD is the anchor. AD is the anchor, and for him to be used, in a really, really well at his full height, you need a ball handling second guy, someone like Luka, someone like LeBron. Though those things work. It's already worked. So that's kind of how that plays out. At least that's how I think it'll play out. AD is the chillest basketball player, but he hates bad defense. Yes, I agree there, Z, for sure. So, Gerald, what happened?
So nice of my cable company to go ahead and do maintenance in the area at the time we're going live. So yes, that's always awesome to know. So
well, I'm glad you brought that up, because this is a discussion that I've had for a few years with my computer science nerd jackasses. I said, well, what happens when the internet cuts out? And then they'll talk about something. Well, what happens if the internet cuts out? We'll talk about TV and stuff and movies and things, right? So I'm a downloading type guy. I like to download. I don't like to stream if I don't have to. To me, streaming is a secondary thing. If I'm going on a trip and I don't want to halt everything like I used to when I would watch a Steeler game, right? I'd say, look, either you guys go or I want to watch the game, whatever, right? And of course, me being accommodating everywhere else in life, my family and my friends have given me that, that luxury of being able to understand, look, guys, I'm a football guy. Football is very hard to record and watch later. It's a one-time gig every week. However, the secondary option is streaming on the phone, on a tablet, blah, 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 right? Great.
Yep.
When you need to. But when it's the primary, now you can't do that in our thing, but the primary, look what happened. When the internet goes out, your whole system goes to crap. That's what happens. And that's why they want us to buy, and I say they as in the controllers, the ones that want to control people. That's why they want us to have electric cars, so that in California, especially in California, when they feel like they want you to stay put and not drive and all that garbage, guess what? They turn off the internet, well, the electricity. And now what are you going to do if you don't have any charge? Oh, Joe, you're a conspiracy theorist. You're thinking negatively. I go, it has nothing to do with thinking negatively.
get that tinfoil hat on.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a visual guy. I'm seeing how stupid that sounds. It doesn't make any sense. Why would I do that? Why would I not have options? When I don't know what it is, but when you advance technology, it's supposed to make things quicker, faster, and better, not slower. I have an electric trimmer and a blower. I'm about it. Hey, I have 2 batteries, so that when the other one runs out, I got the other one to come in. I'll actually purposely buy a second battery so that I'm always full. And it's a good thing. But you can't buy a second battery on a Tesla unless you want to drop 40 grand.
Yeah.
And how are you going to put that battery in the car? You can't. So it's like, how about doing that? What they probably should have done is you should have let the hybrids be the first thing. Everybody has to have a hybrid or electric. Got to be at least a hybrid. Hybrids are great. I just bought a Tundra. It's a hybrid. And it's got the same gas mileage, if not a little bit better than the Tacoma I have that I've had since 2014. That's a good way to save money on gas, especially for a big truck. Start, but it's just control. It's the control. It's the attention. All the hot spot. But anyways, hey, at least we have the cell phone. The cell phone can always bail you out, right, Gerald?
It is right now, my friend. So
Good. So I wanted to thank everyone for being here on the first Cup of Joe. This was all initiated by Gerald Glassford. I did not get up in the morning thinking I was going to do this, and that's probably because I didn't see the news. I actually slept in today a little bit. I woke up around 7.
shame on you.
Yeah. But with that, I want to thank everyone for being here with us this early. Looks like we had a pretty good crowd that showed up, and you all asked really good questions. I think we're going to make this a regular thing, and we'll let you guys know a little bit more ahead of time in terms of the show. This was an impromptu show because it was warranted due to the news that we found out about Golden State and LeBron. But any questions, any comments, please email us at LakersFastBreak@yahoo.com. I'm on Twitter, Joe Soro LFB. My Instagram is Sinblades_turf. And I'm still preparing on giving you guys some of the Facebook stuff. These days, no one cares about Facebook. That's supposed to be like the blue hair social media now these days, isn't it, Gerald?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So you guys can reach me anywhere. Email, Instagram, or Twitter. Obviously, we're here every day almost. You can always contact me here if you have any questions or any comments or any whatever. But thank you again. Have a great rest of your morning and a great rest of your evening. We'll be back later today for pregame, playback, postgame, and the Lakers nightcap. So you got a full schedule. Hopefully, we're just celebrating the first back-to-back 2-0 run of this year. And I'm hoping we're not talking negatively of LeBron tonight as well as this morning.
We'll see what happens, my friend. But
yeah,
let me ask you this before we head on out. Would you like a cup of morning Joe?
no.
Okay. We're going to get one anyways, but thanks everyone for joining us. Joe, send it on home.
Excellent. Have a good night. Have a good day, everyone. See you later. See you later today. It's not until next time on this one because we're obviously coming back in about 9 hours.
Take care, everyone.
Take care, everyone.